10. We've got our advent calendar coming up for you today because we had the weekend. 3 Christmas songs today. In fact, there's going to be many more because these guys are talking about their new Christmas album.
Spirits up, we're here tonight. That's enough. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. The party's on, the feeling's here. That only comes this time of year. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Oh yeah, come on, it's Christmas. We bring it with us. Peace and love, forgiveness. A wonderful Christmas time. Come on, it's Christmas. We bring it with us. Peace and love, forgiveness. A wonderful Christmas time. The word is out about town. So lift a glass, oh, don't look down. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Oh yeah, come on, it's Christmas. We bring it with us. Peace and love, forgiveness. A wonderful Christmas time. Come on, it's Christmas. We bring it with us. Peace and love, forgiveness. A wonderful Christmas time. Children sing their song. They practice all year long. Ding dong, ding dong, dong, ding dong. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Yeah. Come on, it's Christmas. We bring it with us. Peace and love, forgiveness. A wonderful Christmas time. Come on, it's Christmas.
Now that is HANSON and a new version of Wonderful Christmas Time. And we have Isaac, Taylor and Zach with us today. Hello.
Hello, thanks for having us.
Good morning.
Oh, thank you for coming on the show. So, Christmas songs, notoriously difficult to cover, aren't they? Because there's been so many, I mean, the versions of Christmas songs are classic, some of them.
No, they
Oh, yeah.
are, and that's a great example of trying to find the balance of remaining true to the original, but really adding your own thing. And that has a whole section that we wrote to add to Paul's, modern masterpiece, and all the drums underneath. It's a totally different rhythm, but I think when people hear it, you still immediately feel like, oh, here's Wonderful Christmas Time. Like,
Yeah.
It's a really it's a hard balance to find, but
It's like you've changed the song, but you haven't changed it too drastically that nobody won't recognize it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well-
Well, the introduction, I think, what's like that, and that song is actually a really interesting example of that. And there are a few songs like that on the Christmas record where we kind of do take some more significant liberties, as the band. But just interpreting it and making it into kind of a Motown song instead of, a song, done in the, in the 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it kind of has a nice different feel because that song originally didn't have a strong rhythm track at all.
It's mostly synthesizers and
Yeah,
bass.
exactly.
And the thing to me, this is our second Christmas record. We made one 20 years ago, and that was kind of part of the inspiration to do another. We were celebrating 25 years of being a band, and it felt like, this
You realize how old you're making people feel now, don't you?
yeah, well,
Hey man, you haven't lived it. It's
no, but what I will say is, there's a mix of reasons you pick a song for a Christmas record. Most of the songs on it are covers. We wrote our own songs. We wrote about 4 different songs. But you want to add to the legacy of a song, whether it's, Wonderful Christmas Time or Winter Wonderland. These songs have been covered by amazing artists over the years, and you don't want to just be another schmo that just does it the same way the last guy did. You want to try and find just a touch of special that really represents your mark.
All right, this is Winter Wonderland that you heard playing.
Better build a snowman.
It's really nice as a DJ to get some fresh versions of songs, though.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I think about this record is we wanted it to feel a little more like a Christmas party. Like you're at a great party with a band playing on stage. And so you really hear...
You said something key, though, with the band playing on stage.
Yeah, the band on stage.
Because these days things are becoming so digital and
You
so
can do it in your
lifeless.
bedroom these days, can't you?
And you know, we grew up listening to rock and roll, classic rock and roll, and in a weird way that Christmas music for us, you know, retro for us, of course, like many of our generation, is our parents' generation in, you know, 60s, 70s, or, you know, even 50s. And so that feeling, which is where we started in music, is actually kind of, you know, very accessible and expected in a way with Christmas songs. So it feels a lot like being able to go back to our roots when we sat down to record a lot of these songs, because you do have songs like Blue Christmas on there, which was an Elvis song, and Please Come Home for Christmas, and, you know,
Charles Brown. So in the rock and roll element, you know, it was really important on this record because
it's part of our DNA as a band. Exactly.
It sounds like a band sitting down and playing, and you know, you got some Beach Boys in there, you've got some, you know, old school blues, and so anyway, it's actually a band record, you know, versus a super stage.
It's really weird, though, isn't it? Because I'm sure that a lot of people would just see you as a boy band from back in the day. Do you know what I mean, though?
In fairness, we were boys when we started, and we are a band.
I think that's
boy
a common
band
common misconception, I think.
You know, when people call us a boy band, I think it's a reflection of the fact that we had young female fans starting out, and not really a reflection of listening to the DNA of our music. And, you know, if you listen to a song like Where's Love or Bop, like you hear like rich guitars and drums, and then you hear this mix of loops and sort of like the emerging sounds from the 90s when we first came out. But I don't think what you hear is something synthesized, really. You hear a very organic garage band just of an era.
This is Please Come Home for Christmas.
Bells will be ringing, glad, glad news. Oh, what a Christmas to have blues. My baby is gone, I have no friends to wish me greetings once again.
We've got HANSON with us on BBC Radio Cornwall today, playing tracks from the new Christmas album. We're going to play the single in a minute. Finally, it's Christmas. How hands-on are you three in the studio?
We never
painfully
two hands on.
Handy. You know, we did produce this with a good friend named Mark Hudson, who we had a history with. We had done our first Christmas record with him 20 years ago.
He also worked on Middle of Nowhere and This Time Around with us as well. Our first two records.
Mark has a great ear for vocals, and that's always been a great partnership. But we're in there. You know, almost everything you're hearing on these records, besides bass, is one of us playing, whether it's congas or drums or organs or pianos or lead guitars.
Well, it's been that way from
the beginning. And so not only are you out there writing the parts, but in some cases you're playing things you have no business doing. You know, there's one song on the record where I think we had 6 people playing guitar at the same time, and that is really
it was like
hard to do.
Jeff Lynne style kind of wall of guitar, ELO.
Exactly, ELO stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the band, so we're there for pretty much everything.
Yeah, for those who don't know, though, I mean, it is important to say, in 2003, we started our own label, so we release all our music ourselves. It's owned by us. We've always written our own songs. We produce the records, in many cases with partners, but it's really, we feel like that is our actual job. Like, our job title is not rock star or famous
Celebrity.
person. It's musician. Like, we make music. That's what my business card would say. And,
Does someone have a business card that says rock star? Because if they do, I kind of want to sock them. Someone just hands you a card.
I don't think
rock star.
I don't think rock stars carry business.
That person receives an immediate smack in the face.
with a wet fish.
Yeah.
So anyway,
You have no friends. Congratulations.
I think the as far as our dynamic in the studio, a producer that we stopped working with one time said to us, "Man, you guys are so hard to work with. You know exactly what you want."
Yeah, because the producer will feel redundant, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is there one of you that's more in control than the others?
It depends on the day, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if it's comping vocals, there is definitely only room for like one person, and it's generally Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody shares a load a fair bit. I mean,
I would say this: we don't all have the same skill set, and
No, we
so who's the de facto leader? Each guy kind of has a different way of coming at it. And I think that has helped us stay being a band for 25 years because we don't have the same perspective and we don't have the same needs, whether it's in the studio or on tour or wherever it is. And that helps you be able to, you step in on the things that are important to you and you let the other guy take the lead when it's something that, he feels strongly about.
Okay, so we're obviously talking about Christmas. We're going to get you to pick your Advent calendar song. Is that all right?
Sure, yeah.
It's going to be slightly different for you guys, though, I think, isn't it? So let's get everything rolling. Here we go. So we're on to... Can we do this one for the Saturday? I think we'll do this one for the Saturday. So what was that? What are we now? 11, 10, 9th. Right, this is Saturday the 9th. HANSON are with us picking their Advent calendar song.
Okay.
Now, the problem we've got is there's 3 of you, so we can't do 3 songs, right?
Okay.
What?
Give me your favourite...
We do a comp. We'll do
you could do a medley. Give me your favourite Christmas song each, first of all.
Isaac, I know you have
Oh gosh,
playlist
I mean,
right now.
I have to say, this is definitely like super traditional, but I just love it because it takes me back to just being a really young kid. Perry Como is the artist, and the song is "No Place Like Home for the Holidays."
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good one. Technically, it's not a Christmas song, right? It's sort of a holiday song.
Yeah, it's on his Christmas record.
Yes.
Right.
So
that's good enough.
One of the reasons Charles Brown's "Please Come Home for Christmas" on the record is because that is definitely one of my favorite. It was one of the things that was just really intimidating to walk up to that song because it's such a perfect version.
Yeah, his original version is
Bells
just
will be ringing. He's got that completely
super deep baritone voice.
Yeah. So that'd probably be my pick.
I mean, I would pick. This is Taylor. I would pick Stevie Wonder's "Someday at Christmas." Interestingly, that song. That's one that I wouldn't have said when I was a kid, but now, when I hear that song, it really strikes a chord. And that was one we chose to put on the record. We did a little slower, a little bit more.
Yeah.
We milked it a little bit more.
But guys, we can't pick all 3.
Yeah.
No.
How do we? Those 3 are not going to go well together.
So, shall I just play yours?
Okay.
Should we do that?
Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
Finally, it's Christmas.
It's been great to talk to you guys. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
This is HANSON, and finally, it's Christmas.
Don't matter if you're 9 or 98, everyone's waiting for a chance to say, finally it's Christmas. Yeah.